Hey, everybody, come on in, come on in, come on in. And I heard somebody say, bring a friend. So if you see my face right now, look, I need you to come on in, get in the comments, tag somebody, let somebody know that we are on the conversation. Look, my name is J.R. Reynolds, the founder of Eagle Vision Productions and the host of the conversation. Look, here on the conversation, what we do is we talk to anybody that's inspiring. That's someone who could be a speaker. That's someone that could be a preacher. That could be someone that is a musician, an artist, an author, whatever it is that you do. If you are doing it well and you want the world to see, we want to talk to you. So if you would like to be a guest on the conversation, simply inbox me. I'll send you the schedule and you can sign up for the conversation. We are currently booked up for the month of November. Come on and tell your neighbor we're booked up for the month of November. But December, which is a special month, my birthday month, I would love to have you as a guest. So again, just inbox me and I will send you the link to sign up for the conversation in December. Also, we are doing some promo packages. So if you would like for us to share your song, if you would like us to share your flyer, your book, just hit me up and we have some promo packages for the month of December. Today, y'all, today, we have a very special guest. This is the first show of the week, so I know it's gonna be fire. So it's just only gonna build up from here, and I know today is gonna be fire. I've already been talking to her. Look, all her people from Alabama already on here. Come on, if you're from Alabama, come on and put some Alabama in the comments. I see y'all getting on here Eastern Standard Time, all here at 6 o'clock your time, 7 my time. So I'm so grateful. So without further ado, my sister, my friend, Miss Portia Shepherd, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, friend?
I know that's right.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, Jadrian.
Right,
Great to
everybody.
see
I
my boy
know that's
Larry, my co-host, my girl Gloria. Thank y'all so much for coming on.
Yes. Hey, everybody. And look, like I told you earlier, Portia, they saying roll tide. We all over here.
No.
So I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go. That is funny. So look, we already family, but it is something I do called the Eagle Vision Picture Game. And what that is simply for you to become a part of the Eagle family, the virtual family. I picked a few pictures and I just want you to tell me what these pictures mean to you, okay?
Okay. All right, let's go.
Here is the first one.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. That's my girl, Carly. I got to tag her now. You think you're the best for you got me all teary-eyed. Okay, I got to tag Carlita Smith Moon. She and I went to undergrad together. She ran for Miss Miles. She ran for Miss Miles, and she's a wonderful spirit. She called me. She comes through the Black Belt on her way home from Mississippi when she comes to work every week. And so she called me. She was like, you need to take me. So I took her to one of my church members' house, restaurant, Stephanie. The name of the restaurant is called A Slab and More. And we had some good barbecue, good laughter. It was great to see her. I hadn't seen her in years, just through social media, of course, you know that, but in person in years. And since homecoming was canceled this year, it was just great to see her. Thank you for bringing that picture up. Thank you for that.
No,
you got me on that one.
See. Look, so what part of Alabama, before we get into the rest of it, what part of Alabama?
We're in, I consider, this is called the Black Belt of Alabama.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know about the Black Belt. The Black Belt on paper is where the deep, dark soil, which is great for farming, is. But the truth of the matter is where majority of the Black people live in our state. It has a strong African-American presence here. And so a rich history of life. And it's also one of the poorest areas in our nation. Not just in the state of Alabama, but throughout the nation. But it's home, and I love it. And I always have an opportunity to represent the great state, especially rural areas.
Wow, that is awesome. That's awesome. All right, here is let me ask this before. So how far, because I was just in Alabama, so how far is it from Auburn and Tuskegee?
Tuskegee University. Tuskegee is in Macon County. So it is okay. So here's the deal. You had to hit the Joe Biden on this. Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Okay, you have what they consider to be 21 counties in the Black Belt. The part of the Black Belt that I live in, I consider that to be the heart of the Black Belt, which is the minimum poorest areas. Okay, Macon is considered to be, so you got Macon coming through Montgomery, Lowndes County area. All of that is considered to be a part of it, but the true core of where the Black Belt is the 5 counties that I love that I always talk about, which is Perry, Hale, Green, Sumter, Marengo, part of Dallas, Choctaw, and Sumter County. So those areas is what I consider to be the core of the area.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Here we go. Look, you ain't even looking. I know
okay,
you.
That is. I was trying
people,
to
y'all.
tag the people. I'm like, y'all need to get on. I got a lot going on. Okay, so here, this is Aurelia. Aurelia is my daughter. She is a junior at Alcorn State University. She went in early because she's an RA this year, so she has a lot more responsibility. She is in the honors dorm because she's on the dean list, so she's an RA. And we went back early to drop her off for school, and we were saying goodbye. I didn't cry anymore, and my mom did. My mom did because that's her baby. And my sister Tara cried, but I didn't cry.
Right.
And
but
that was, we actually dropped her off at Alcorn for her junior year. So she's in her junior year. She's all stressed out. Like she had a self-care day Saturday.
Come on.
She's, with work and with work in school, she's just so stressed,
I feel it.
And so she went there. So we're excited about that. But she's growing up. She says to me, she'll be 21 coming up in February. She said, I don't want to grow up. I told her too late. It's too late for that. So, so we're excited about seeing her and what's happening.
That is so good.
He's getting all the good pictures. Okay, that's wait, you gotta go back. Okay, I want to make sure. That's my mom. That's my cousin Nene husband, Dino.
Okay.
That's his son first game. My cousin Xavier. I call him Xavier baby. Xavier baby, that was my baby. That's most people, I don't know in Georgia if it's like that, but I know in Alabama, your first cousin is really like your sisters and your brother.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, okay. Yes. And so Xavier will be considered. Used to be, yeah. Xavier would be considered my nephew. If the way that we look at things. And he's my baby, and he's in the 12th grade at Center Point High School, and that was his first game. He's a plus size kid, but he made drum major. Ooh. And that was his first game as drum major. Baby, he did it up. And so we were there. We came up, my mom and I came up for his first football game with his dad that's in the middle with our masks on. And we watched his first performance as a drum major at Center Point High School. Man, you got me in here. Please, I wasn't ready for this tonight.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Last picture.
Last picture. Okay. That's the night I met you.
Yep.
That's the night I met you. That was at the WATC 57 studio in in Atlanta. That was the word was with Miss Heard.
Yep.
And they played it actually. I'm gonna post that. They played that actually the other night. They played it. And I'm excited about that. I'm trying. Everybody's like, "Where's the show?" I'm like, "I just shared it like 30 times." And so
the link is on your page.
Yeah, but that was that interview, and we talked about domestic and sexual violence. I didn't realize that they were going to, the show being played in the local prison, in the jails and things like that. I found out later that her husband started, and she continued it on. So it was an incredible opportunity to be in the studio. I'm glad I came. I got an opportunity to hear you. That God's plan. You guys got to check that song. I know it ain't about him, but that song, it was perfect for that night.
Wow.
And it brought everything in perspective for me. But the song is called God's Plan. Is on all major streaming services. You guys check that song out. He has a video that's out called God's Plan. You can find it on YouTube. But I just that song, JR, that song is a message within itself to me.
Wow.
And that night to hear that, it's like, this is God's plan. I just got to be patient. And I appreciate that. And so that picture was also a touching moment because it definitely is a part of God's plan for my life.
Yes. And that was a great night. Honestly, like we all just met, and we was family right then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
That was crazy.
Everybody, seriously.
It was just like, hey, like.
Right.
And it wasn't fake. To me, it wasn't. It wasn't fake. It was genuine.
Yep.
Genuine. Yep. And when we got in that green room.
Come on.
When we got in that green room, I promise you I was there before. That's why I sat back like that.
Okay.
That's why I sat back, because I was just like, yo, this is the craziest moment right here.
You're right. And
so that's why I said when you sung that song at the end, it really was in God's plan, because spiritually I had already been there. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Everybody, we are talking to my new sister, Portia Shepherd. I know y'all are here for her. So if y'all are here, make some noise in the comments. Look, that was the last picture. So you now are officially Eagle family. So whatever you need, hit me up and I got you. For real. All right. So look, Portia, tell us a little bit about who you are. Before we get into the business side, you can ease into that, but just tell us who you are as a person.
As a person, Portia is a loud, fat woman from the Black Belt of Alabama, a high school dropout, an unwed mother.
My God.
Who did not raise her kids.
Portia.
Who decided to make sure that they have a life that at the time of conception that I could not provide. Who been through, my brother called me a thug. That's mommy. And from there, dropped out of high school, got my GED, went to junior college, went to Shelter State, went on to Miles College, later got my master's, and currently worked in the sexual assault field for about 10 years. And now currently I teach world history, which was my major, which is part of my major within political science at Miles College, at Selma High School. And so that's who I am. That's who I am.
Ooh, Portia. Oh my goodness. So what was the turnaround? Like, first of all, y'all, that's why you have to follow God's plan. Like, Jeremiah 29:11, his plan is not to harm you. Yes, she dropped out. Yes, whatever. Yes. But God truly does have a plan for your life if you accept and say yes. And it's so much greater. It's so much greater. But Portia, what was that turnaround for you? Like, okay, I want to get school.
I had praying parents and family. And I'm just telling people this. I was a PK kid, so I always tell this story, right?
Okay.
So they always say the pre-K kid, I was just the bad one. Okay, everybody else was good. I was just the bad one. And I used to tell people all the time. People like, how can you be like that? Your daddy preached. I used to say, God called my dad, and he called me. That was my line. I used to say. And I was so busy trying to prove that I wasn't a preacher kid. Like this how dumb I was, this how stupid I was. And so I was so busy not knowing I'm destroying myself spiritually, physically, and mentally, because I was too busy trying to be somebody that I wasn't. So the whole time that I'm spending wasting time with life, wasting a lot of time. I beat myself up for it. And the truth of the matter is, JR, the truth of what all that was, I did not love myself. And that's why when I tell people that now, I be like, you got to learn to love yourself. I had to learn how to do that.
Yes.
I had to learn how to love myself because Portia did not love herself.
Come on.
And so what I began to do is I was hurting myself based on my lack of love of who I was. So I didn't, you know, most people like, oh, she didn't know her words, and you know, and she's out here doing that. You're looking at it one way. I was looking at it in a totally different, a totally different way. So the turnaround point came from me was in 2006. I was smoking a blunt.
Woo!
This is I was smoking a blunt. My granddad had just passed away. My papa name was Charles Brown. That was my home. And I was in under, you know, I was finishing up undergrad, and I was smoking. And I was sitting outside. I was smoking, and it was like I saw myself, and I didn't like it.
Come on.
I no longer liked who I was, and so even though, you know, at that time I was student government president, I was going back and forth to DC. I was lobbying for APEC, which is the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. It's a lobbying group that focuses on strengthening the United States and Israel relationship. I had just started a job with Alabama constitutional reform. I mean, I was doing all this stuff to the word that was great, but I was not happy.
God.
And so when I saw myself, I hated it. And I boo-hooed, I was grieving. And I went through a depression stage for a while. Mentally, I was, physically, I was on earth. Mentally, I was gone. My dad used to say, God has the ability to create a chemical imbalance in a human to make that individual act like a monkey. And honestly, I was almost that monkey.
Ooh.
A lot of the decisions that I made in my life, I did not realize what I was doing to myself and what I was doing to my family, because that's how selfish I was. I didn't care. I'm just being honest with you. I just did not care. And so what began to happen, you know, things happened. And I'll never forget, I was smoking a cigarette. This was in 2008. This is when I quit smoking. It was in 2008. I was sitting on my papa's porch, and I was smoking a cigarette, and Aurelia, she came outside and she said, because I was frustrated because my cigarettes was missing. And so at first I thought the yard guy, his name Charlie, he's been doing yard work for my family for years. You know, everybody got that guy. That was Charlie. Charlie was that guy. And I thought Charlie was stealing my cigarette. You know, I was getting mad. So I was out there about the light, but my lighter didn't work. So I knew I had another lighter in my room. When I opened up the drawer, this is a true story now I'm about to tell you. I opened up the drawer and I saw all my broken cigarettes. Aurelia was breaking them and putting them in the drawer because she kept telling she wanted me to start smoking. And I get ready, I was like, Aurelia, like in my loudest voice, Aurelia, you better get yourself. So while she takes, I run outside. By this time, my dad's pulling up. And I get outside. My dad's like, what's going on? I was like, Aurelia, broke all my cigarettes. My dad looked at me with a straight face and he said, you about to whoop up for a cigarette?
Come on. Woo!
And it just like something went through me. That day, I quit cold turkey smoking cigarettes. This is true. It was in July 2008. And I quit smoking, and I started finding Portia.
Okay.
I started finding me and coming back to myself. And with God's help, my church family, reading the word, I came back to and began to purpose. Because either way, God's plan, you can run, but you still got to do it. And the whole time I'm running, trying to do what I want to do, I'm missing and hurting people that I know for a fact love me. Ooh. Because I was selfish and I did not love myself. And until that, and so that turnaround moment, I said all that, I know that's a lot. But I said all of that to say that whatever it is in life that you are put on earth to do, you can run from it. You can go to the highest places, you can go to the lower places. But God's going to have a purpose for you wherever space he wants you in. So it's up to you to either do it his way, to where you could be, do it his way, or you can continue to do it your way and fail and still miss the opportunity to be a blessing, which is what you've been put on earth to do. And that's something that I had to learn. And it was frustrating for a long time, JR, because I'm like, dang, God, you done had me to go and do this and sit with these people, and I'm going over here, I'm negotiating, and you want me to come back to Alabama? You want me to go home? And you done put me in the room with all these folks you crazy? So he started taking opportunity. I put in application after application, resume after resume. The connection that God had put me through those doors was closing. I'm like, wait a minute. I told you to go home. You get what I'm saying?
Wow.
And when I did that, man, he started moving.
Yep.
But it's his time. So, the turnaround time came from when I saw myself, and after seeing myself, not liking myself once again, and then redefining who I was through his eyes and not my own.
Come on. But don't you think it's so much better once you finally do that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, your resume is so long. Your resume, when I'm telling you, I'm like, oh my goodness. So let's talk about the political side. What all did you do for that? You was running campaigns and
yeah, I was doing campaigning. I like I said, I did a lot of lobbying. I worked on the Hillary campaign an hour, did that for a while, came home. I ended in 2010 with the Alabama Democratic Party. Shout out to Oscar Berry with the Bobby Bright campaign. Did that in 2010, came home and subbed for a while. And then I went back to Birmingham. And you know what's funny, how I got into sexual assault fit? This is a funny story. My uncle used to joke and call me a Jamaican. No offense to Jamaicans, because I had a lot of jobs.
Right.
I was working like 4 jobs, but I had 1 full-time job. I had 3 part-time jobs. One of my part-time jobs was on the weekend, and it was at a domestic violence shelter. I worked Saturday and Sunday, and I worked the 11 to 7 shift. You know how you work that on Saturday and Sunday, $240 a weekend. I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? And so, so at the time, here I am in my mind, like, this is just another job, not knowing that this was the beginning of something that he wanted me to do. And so when I did that, I stayed at a safe house in Shelby County till I got to Turning Point in 2014. I stayed there for a couple of years, and I went to Turning Point in 2014 and prevention education. I went on to family services in North Alabama. That definitely sparked on a national level on sexual and domestic violence for in the great state of Alabama. So he took something that thought I was too good to be working and humbled me enough to make a career out of it. And that's why I had to say was, God plan definitely ain't out. Definitely is not ours.
Right. So you got into domestic violence. Like, do you remember what it first was like, I guess, getting into that? And then can we talk about domestic violence? Is it still active? Like, now, do people still be, going through that? Men still beating on women, and women still beating on
men, women. Yeah.
Lord.
Domestic violence is still real. A lot of times, a lot of people don't understand the seriousness of it. A lot of people think it's just physical. It's not just physical. It's mental as well. Like, I have my friend, my former coworker, Zara Park. She's on there. Hey, Zara, I love you. But it's still a real thing. And the mental part is the dangerous part. I used to think before I start, really researching and getting into it, when I used to hear victims come in to share, they used to be like, man, Miss Portia, I'd rather for him to hit me than the stuff he used to say to me.
Yep.
And I used to be like, that's crazy, but it's not, because mentally it doesn't go away. I can remember the story. I always tell this story. Of course you can tell I'm loud. So I laugh even louder, right? I'm laughing even louder, right? And so one of the things that was happening was that I was talking and I was laughing, and I was just in there in the front area laughing and talking in the shelter. And so after the young lady, she left, and this other lady came in. She was so full, and I was like, oh my God. So I said, like, let's sit down. And she said, no. She said, your laugh remind me of my mother-in-law. She said, the way that you just laughed, that's how she used to laugh when he used to beat me. And that goes back to that mental scarring.
Wow.
And I tell that story. So I used to, when she, when she was when she had a time in the shelter, I watch how I laughed and things like that, or the things that I say, because those are trigger moments for victims. And so I took her back to a space that I apologize. She was all, of course, very receptive of it. But I use this as an example to show you the mental scarring that goes along with domestic violence.
Wow.
And a lot of times people don't see that part of it, and they wonder why don't that person leave? They doing all this physical stuff to them because mentally they're invested in their relationship. So it's hard to break that mental bond simply because of the fact that individual is mentally there.
Wow.
And so that's why most of the time when a victim leaves, immediately we get them into counseling, because we have to break that mental bond against it. They affectionately call it trauma bond.
Right.
You get bonded by people. That's just like in sexual violence. A lot of people don't like to talk about that part of sexual violence. When you're constantly being molested with a person, just like in a sexual relationship, your body's stupid. Your body doesn't know. This is why I tell young people. That's why when the abuser says to young people, "Oh, your body reacted," parts of your body react to sexual things. So, oh, that means you like it. No, that doesn't. Your body's stupid. It doesn't know it's being harmed.
Ooh.
And so the things that happen naturally when you're naturally and consenting to sex, when you are being raped, those same things happen because of what's happening to you. It doesn't mean that it is right. It doesn't mean that you like it. It just means that is what your body is doing. And so that goes back to that mental game that abusers play to continue to prey on victims of domestic and sexual violence.
Wow, wow, wow. And I was just thinking something you had said funnier on the other interview when I was there was super funny. You was like, as far as the mental and verbal, you was like, okay, the red sign, the red flags.
Red flag.
I like to eat. So if we go on a date and you talking about whatever, you should be asking me, do I like the dessert too?
That's right, baby. You know I'm fat when you ask me I don't eat. There's no way that if I go out with a guy and all of a sudden we've been dating, he got a problem. Look, you knew I was obese when you said, "Can I have your telephone number?" The fat did not grow overnight, okay? And so when we go out, the way that I eat or what I'm eating shouldn't shock you, simply because you know how I look. And that goes back to also, that go back to that mental stuff. You have to watch that. Even joking. Now, I'm not talking about you and your boyfriend sitting there joking and you say, "Oh, all right, with your big old head." That's not what I'm saying. Okay. But what I am saying is, especially things that you're insecure with, an abuser can pick up on that. And they play on that and they throw different things to you, knowing that this affects you. And then they'll compliment you. So you can, because they know that part of you is insecure.
Yes.
That's why I tell people, when you start a relationship, be very careful of the information that you're pouring out of your mouth. Especially when you're dealing with abuse. Well, Ms. Portia, how do you know with abuse? Most abusers don't share themselves. Some do, some don't. They're learning who you are.
Wow.
They're learning your weaknesses. They're studying you, so they can understand. And you have to listen. I know when you're in bigger cities like Atlanta, like you're in Atlanta, in the A, everything is a lot bigger sometimes. So people may be a little bit spread out, a little bit more. But in small country towns like where I'm from, if Ray used to beat Kim, more than likely Ray gonna beat you. And you need to know. I'm just being honest about it. And so, a lot of times, I never forget, I dated this guy. I had no idea this guy was an abuser. I tell you, he got in his next relationship, and he was abusing this girl. This is a true story. So I asked him, I said, "Did you ever want to hit me?" He said, "Yeah, but I knew you was a bigger fool than me."
Come on, right.
You get what I mean? So abusers know. They know when you're weak. They know when you're weak. And that goes for whether you're gay or straight. I used to have young people tell me when I go into schools, "Oh, Miss Portia, you'll never have to worry about a man beating on me. I'm gay." I used to say, "Congratulations." You know what I'm saying? Good. I'm proud of you for coming out. But your sexuality doesn't have nothing to do with abuse. As a matter of fact, according to Brown University, The last study that I looked, now I haven't looked this year. I usually look every year. They started in 2011, and they're trying to see why homosexual relationships were more abusive than heterosexual.
Yep, I believe that.
Because every other homosexual relationship is violent. Heterosexuals are 1 in 3 in some, but according to the National Domestic Violence, 1 in 3. And then other areas say 1 in 4. It depends on who you look at. I always say 1 in 4 when I'm doing speaking engagement. But 1 in 4 persons. Homosexual is every other 1 in 2. Every other relationship is violent. And so that is also a red flag. So, your sexuality doesn't exempt you from abuse.
Wow.
And it happens in all relationships, all races, all socioeconomic statuses. Those things happen. And now that we're in COVID, a lot of people ask me, do you know whether or not, we have an organization, we haven't launched yet, but people know that we exist. A lot of small people know that we exist. And one of the things that happen is that those things that are happening within this community happens based off of the fact that victims can't get to help because they're in the home with the abuser. So they're not going to make the calls. Like I know when we was on the show with Miss Sandy, she said that the same amount of calls that they got last year was similar to the calls this year. Doesn't mean the abuse is not happening. No, it just that means the abuser is not going to work now.
Ooh.
She or he is in the home all the time. So I can't pick up that phone and call and ask for help simply because this is where I am. And so those things are some of the things that we have to consider when you're thinking about domestic violence and the wording that we're saying to victim. You're stupid for staying. You shouldn't, the most dangerous time, people have to understand this, the most dangerous time for a victim is when the victim leaves. 8 out of 10 victims that have been choked by an abuser, when they leave, would die by the abuser. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful saying that person leave. It may be more deadly for them to leave than it is to stay. And we see cases like this all the time, but it's swept up under the rug. What we see when victims leave a perpetrator, and then the perpetrator ends up killing them or killing themselves, and things like that. Those things are happening a lot. And we have to make sure that we're very careful of saying leaving and accepting people. Because you got to understand, when abuser I have a friend, she's watching, I'm not going to call her out, but I never forget she was in a domestic violence situation. And I never forget when I ended up running over the guy's foot. If she on there, I know she remember what I'm talking about. And when I pulled up, he was so focused on her, he didn't even realize I had ran over his foot.
Okay.
The abuser focus is on the victim and getting to harm that particular victim, and anyone that's in their way will possibly get hurt by them trying to get to the victim. It is a mental crazy.
Wow.
It's the most craziest thing that I've ever seen happen. I had a young man over at Hope, Alabama. He was trying to protect his sister. The shooter was trying to go around him to shoot his sister. And the young man ended up getting killed. And his sister didn't even die. That's why you have to be careful jumping into those domestic violence situations. In Malvern, Alabama, an 8th grade girl got killed because she thought about jumping in front of her mom. Her stepdad was not going to make that shot. Not only did he shoot her, he ended up killing the mom and then later killing himself. So you have to be careful stepping into these situations. That's why instead of saying you need to leave, come with me, you need to say, hey, when you're ready, I have a place for you to go. And these shelters are locked and secure with security. It's most of the time in a secure area. So they have panic buttons. So if the individual comes, the police is there immediately to arrest them. So you won't have to worry about that. Let them get to professionals. Stop trying to be the middle person. Oh, they're not going to come over here. Don't. There's so many people who have died and have lost their life, including police officers, trying to help victims of domestic violence. It is a dangerous situation. You're not a professional. Get them to professional help so they can be able to get the help in which they deserve.
Wow. That is so true. So you said so much, and I hope this is not.
I'm sorry.
This is good. That's so good, but I hope it's not a crazy question. Say, for instance, we're out. You know how you're saying professionals? Say, for instance, we see something domestic violence going on, between a man and a woman. Do I jump in? Do I go over there, jump in, try to, you know what I'm saying? Or, because that's the natural thing to do is try to jump in. You know what I'm saying? So what is that?
Okay, so I always tell people that's not smart. But you got some families, they about their life. You know what I'm saying? They ride it out, we in that thing. So you got people, you got people who have gone and have mediated the situation. However, it is a risk.
Right.
And the question to you is, are you willing to take that risk instead of getting the person the help in which he or she needs?
Right.
And victims of domestic violence, I know when you call the police and the police come, this is something else that's a problem. You get nervous and you back out. They come around and they tell you they love you. They want, they want to be with you. They're sorry, that we call that the honeymoon phase. That's going to last for about 2 to 3 weeks. He may find him a little job if it's work that's a problem. May pick up around the house, do little things like that. And then you like, you know what, I'm going to drop these charges. Charges are dropped. 6 weeks later, you're calling again, saying you need help. And the shelter, we're like, come on, we don't care how many times you call, come on. But the point of it is, you cannot look at that as something that's going to help you get better. It's not going to help you get better. And so you have to make sure that you are making these decisions strategically. That's why when you call the domestic violence shelter, if you know you're not 100% ready to leave, tell them that you're interested in a safety plan.
Okay.
Tell them you want them to work with you in building a safety plan. And in a safety plan, that's telling you to make sure that you have copies of all your legal. Because see, you have to understand, abusers know everything about you. They know where your paperwork is. They know where you're going. They know where you are. So you have to be very strategic about what the stuff that you're doing. Most of the time when you're getting ready, I see the question, what about when someone's ready to leave? Most of the time when you're getting ready to leave, this is one of the reasons why domestic violence shelters take clothing, toothpaste, toothbrush. Sometimes people just come with the clothes on their back to get away.
Okay.
And so that's why domestic violence shelters take those type of donations, because they provide victims with clothes, because sometimes you just have to leave.
Like Tina Turner.
Like Tina Turner, you just got to go. I got 15 cents and a ring. You get this ring, just
Right.
get me away from this situation. So when you're ready to leave, you call the domestic violence 799. Well, I give you the number at the end. You call the domestic violence hotline. You make sure that you get the help that which you need in order for you to be able to be in a place of safety. But you need to call the domestic violence hotline to connect with the shelter so you can have a place to go. My suggestion to you is to go to a domestic violence shelter. And the reason why is they probably, if you're in a relationship with the individual, they know where your family stay at, they know where your friends stay at. The guy that I'm talking about, my friend that's watching, she had got to the point, he had pushed her away from me. I was the enemy.
Right.
I was the enemy. I was jealous. I was all these crazy things to get her away from me. And so he didn't know that we were secretly still talking.
Right.
So when she did leave one time, he kept going over to the place where she was at, because that's where she at, because in his mind, we were no longer talking. Until one day, I think she went to the store. And that's the only way I can see that he knew where she was. And she was so scared, like, how did he find me? And so they know where you are. They know where, they know who you hang out with. So in my opinion, if you truly want to leave, go to a domestic violence shelter. That's 800-799-7233. Go to a domestic violence shelter, because they can give you the safety net that you and especially if you got kids, that you and your family need. That even if you have dogs, because I know people have pets, some shelters accept pets, but some shelters have a connection with, shelters, dog shelters, that to where you can go see your pet. They may not can live with you, but they have safety plans. They can help you with your finances. They can help you find an apartment. There's one of the organizations that I was at, they even go back 6 months in arrears to help you pay for stuff, to get you out of debt, to help you get to a point of first month rent, first month utilities, to where you've saved up enough money to where you and your family can sustain a loan. So if you're ready to leave, there are services available for you. And if not, if you call that number and you call a shelter and they give you some flat, contact the National Domestic Violence Resource Center, Domestic Violence Center, and they will take care of those individuals because funding comes through them. You
Right.
understand that? Or you contact your state domestic violence agency if you're having any problem, and you report these shelters who do not provide you with the services that they get grants to do. Okay.
Come on, come on. Have you ever experienced like one that's like, man, oh, if she would have just, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes. One of my second cases in Shelby County ended that way. And the night she left, she didn't know I had one of the. It was supposed to be the lady that was on before me had to go somewhere, so I came on early, and then the lady was going to come in, so I can get to offset the time. So when she was going to leave on her shift, but she didn't know I was there, and I begged her, Jr. I said, "Don't go back." And she held my hand, she cried, and she said, "I'm gonna be all right." I said, "You're not gonna be all right." Because before she got there, her neighbor found her outside, passed out, and called Sheriff Kane. Sheriff brought, because at that place, the sheriff brings them to the shelter. What it was at that time. I don't know what it is now. But and he brought her to the shelter, and she was there for about 2 weeks. And she, we were talking to her. She always came down the midnight shift and talk and laugh with me. And the way she held my hand, I told my mom that night. The way she held my hand, I knew that was it. Sometimes, have you ever seen a guy dating in college? The last time he hugged me before he got killed, it was a different hug than when he hugged me before. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. And so that's how she held my hand across, because it's like a little counter area. And she was like, "I'm going to be all right." And I don't know, I just told her she wasn't. And the next morning, I had made it home and laid down in the bed, and my telephone rung. It was a shelter. And they said, "Cut on the news." And they found her that he had killed her.
What?
He had murdered her. And he tried to murder himself, but he wasn't successful. So and I think he's still in jail now. But that was in Shelby County. She was from Columbiana, Alabama, and he killed her.
Wow.
He killed her. That it wasn't even like she left the shelter, and a few hours later she was gone.
Wow.
They don't change. They don't change. And I know people say, "Well, eventually they'll change." I know people that have been in a relationship with people that they stayed with them, they was in abuse, and years later they still with the individual, and the individual may not do it anymore. But look at all that mental scarring all that time.
Okay, because I was going to ask you that. I was going to, so I'm glad you brought that up. And we're going to kind of shift before we end off, because on a higher note, about you teaching students and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But look, I was going to ask, because I do know like an older lady who, like you said, been through it all this time. She may not get beat anymore, but you said there's still scarring there. Like,
yeah, it was the case in North Alabama. The guy was abusive to his wife for years. They've been together over 40 years. She was, you can tell the way he was a prominent guy in the community. I'm not gonna call his name because the case is still pending. But he had terrorized that community in a sexual violent way. But he was physically abusive to his wife for years. And she was so afraid of him that even though she knew what he was doing, she was too afraid to say anything and leave. And you think about 40-something years, they dated for 2 years, I found that out. And then so for 47 years, she's been abusive. He's been abusive to her. She's not even the same person. So when he got arrested, even though she knew it was true, even though it was a videotape of it, she defended him as if, because mentally, he has her.
Yep.
So that's 40 plus years. He may not fit. Now, his church say he's still physically abused her. I don't know. I'm not there. But 40 plus years of mental and physical abuse, it does not stop. And that's not love. That's the other thing about loving yourself. I personally haven't been in a mental or physical relationship because I looked at guys differently. That's why I say I was different. But I wasn't in a physical or mental relationship, but I saw friends who was in a mental and physical relationship, a bad relationship. But I personally wasn't, not because I'm big bad Portia, partly because of it, but because I did not love myself, but not to the extent to where my self-esteem was so low to where I accepted it.
Come on.
And
Come
my
come
friend who's
on.
watching, one of the things, she's a beautiful, big, beautiful black woman. She's an incredible, you need her on your team for writing. She's an incredible writer. I
Wow.
mean, to the point to where she was in an abusive relationship. She got offered a deal in Hollywood when we was in high school. But she listened to somebody that she ain't think about that. But anyway, but the point of it is that she's a big, big, beautiful woman, about 6 feet, big woman. When we was in high school, she beat up 3 girls at one time. But a little dude,
Come on.
Kenny,
Come on.
was beating her
Come on.
because mentally
Come on.
he had her.
Come on.
And truthfully, she did not, I've had the discussion, she did not love herself. Now you can't even touch her, baby, because she's built that up. But the point of it is she had to get to that point.
Yes.
And if you are being abused or you know someone to be abused, it's a self-esteem problem.
Yes. Yes.
That you look into yourself. It's not your fault that you getting, look, now she done told on herself.
I
It's
know
not
that's
your
right.
fault. It's not your fault that you're getting abused. Now, don't take that from me, what I'm saying. I'm saying is loving yourself. Don't depend on that person to tell you that you're beautiful. Know that you're beautiful. Don't pretend, don't depend on that person to tell you that you look nice when you know you're looking good, when you know your hair looking good. Don't depend on that person for compliments and building your self-esteem. It's called self-esteem.
Come
Like Cat Williams
on.
said, it's how you feel about yourself. So stop depending on other people to make you feel good when you should feel good on your own. And
Yeah.
that would help start the process of you building up yourself to get to the point of leaving and knowing you deserve better than what it is that you're receiving.
Yes, Portia. And look, not only in relationships, but look, in your business, you have to get self-esteem to do what we're doing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Woo,
You have
yes.
to know you got to know that you're good. You have to know you're great. You can't wait for the likes and for the shares and for the this. You have to know that you are called self-esteem.
That's right. They'll come back later when you get there and watch it.
Come on. Right. Self-esteem. So look,
Right.
how did you get into the school field before we wrap it up? How'd you
Okay,
get?
sure. Selma Hot, man, those kids are something that, as a matter of fact, I had my friend Glory today. I want you to come one day too. Just give me, this is what I do. So we're virtual school. So virtual school is always bored because everybody does the same stuff. So I do my inspiration for the day. So I'm starting to do different things. Like today I have my friend Glory to come in. She's a chiropractor. Tomorrow in my 9 o'clock class, they coming in at different times. In my 9 o'clock class, I got my boy Marquise, who's a train conductor. He's going to come in and talk to one class. I want you to come in and talk to a class about the play. I want them to see people in different fields that look like them.
Okay.
This is no offense to my Latino brothers and sisters, my white brothers and sisters, but we come from a poor Black area that they feel that they've been torn down, they've been beaten up so much, they see poverty everywhere they go, they're in bad situations, that they need to see that you don't have to be from a particular family to go off and do great stuff. And so so when I have those kids in the day, like today, usually when I let them out of class to go into Schoology to do their work, they fly on, Today, I was like, yo, it about to be clay, about to be over now. Like, because the inspiration of seeing themselves.
Yes.
And so I do that every day. So we had Inspiration Day. And then the song of the day was Sue Me by Wale.
Okay.
So check out that video. It's really cool. I didn't play the whole video, parents. I didn't play the whole video, by the way. I stopped when the guy went to the jail. So the end of the video got a lot of profanity in it. And so, thank you, Dre. That's my friend Dre. He's getting his doctorate at University of Georgia. You guys should meet. He's an actor.
Yes.
Okay. So they're great kids. A lot of them been beat up so much. People told them, you're nothing. You from Selma bad. Y'all got to fail in school. Those are great kids. They were very excited. Those are great kids, and they just want to be heard. They want to be seen. They like anime. They like that. I don't think that that's weird. It's just cool to just see them be themselves,
Yes.
and giving them a space to where they can say certain things. Like certain things, when I'm asking them about stuff and they're expressing themselves, they may slip. I don't be like, I'm gonna write you up. I
Right.
be like, what? Don't you say that no more, boy.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, so it's just different. And so I'm enjoying it. I have a great principal. Mr. Pritchard is cool. I also have a great lead teacher, Miss Pitts. I got great coworkers, Mr. Richardson, Miss Robinson, Mr. Robinson, Miss Cutright. I have a great history department. I think that's what makes it great. And that's just not me saying it because I got a job. It's just me being 100 about it. I came from Family Service in North Alabama, and we had a great work environment. You know what I mean? And so I went, and so to go back to leave there and go to another great work environment, it makes a difference on what it is that we're doing. And so I'm excited about it, about what's happening. And then at the same time, I'm excited to be in a place to where I'm needed. And to provide the space. So I definitely want you to come and talk to my kids one day. Only like 7-8 minutes. Let them ask you questions. You tell them about yourself. Show them your God's plan video, and let them know that these are spaces that you can do.
Yes.
And I think that that's important for them to see.
Yes, awesome. I'm there. Just let me know how, and I will be there for real.
Okay.
Real. Everybody, this has been so good. My new sister, Portia Shepherd, I thank you so much. Look, Portia,
thank you.
Before we let you go, and you can take these last however many minutes you want to do your thing, whatever God is saying to you, just go in, okay?
All right. Just ask this song called God's Plan. Y'all need to listen to this song. And my journey of what God's doing, and I'm in my devotional, which is in Bible U verse. I'm doing the plan called Marked, and it's talking about being marked by God, and it's very important to hear that when you are when you're doing that, and it's by Pastor Michael Todd. And one of the things that I want you guys to know, that in God's plan, it's not gonna go the way you want it. And that's something that I had to realize and that I have to accept and start living in the moment to where God has me right now. And if you would do that and follow God's plan, listen to that song. I want you to listen to that song. But follow God's plan and allow Him to lead you in His timing and the spaces that He wants you to be. It would definitely be an uplifting thing for you and the people in lives you're supposed to touch. My papa, his name was Charles Brown. So if you use this quote, you got it from this guy. His name was Charles Brown. And he used to call me pork chop. And he said, Chops, he said, in life, there are people that you are supposed to touch. Everybody else, it is somebody else's job, but it is your responsibility to find the individual that you're supposed to touch. And when you finish that, the joy in that, you get to go home and meet our Father in heaven. If you're willing to do that and put in the work that God wants you to be and truly, truly do what He wants you to do, follow God's plan and allow Him to lead you. I'm just starting doing myself good now. Remember, since 2008, that's a short time frame. But hopefully I'll get it right before I get a chance to go to glory. And at least I know I put forth the effort. Thank you.
Sorry to cut you off, girl.
No, it's okay.
That's real, for real though.
Yeah.
All are not like for real. We just have to follow. It's a day by day process. For real, Portia. I thank you so much.
That song, I told that song that you don't know.
Wow.
You just wrote it.
Right. I'm gonna sit.
God gave it to you to write.
Come on.
And you did it. And it's a message.
Wow.
That needs to be shared.
Wow. Thank you so much. I'm going to send you the stage play. Have I done that before? Yeah. Did you watch it?
No, you haven't done it.
Yes, I did.
You didn't send me the stage play?
I sent it in your text, but I'm going to resend it.
Resend it.
Okay.
So I'm going to share that.
Okay. No, don't share that. Tell them what
I'm not going to share it, but I'm going to watch it. I'm going to verbally share it.
Right, there you go. But I'm
yeah.
watch it though. I'm gonna send it to you to watch it, then you can verbally share it. But
Okay, okay.
y'all, this is my sister Portia Shepherd. We had a good time. Portia, where can everybody find you at?
Find me on Facebook, Portia Shepherd. Find me on Instagram, the same name, Portia Shepherd. Find me on Twitter, Portia Shepherd. It's the same thing all the way around. Find me. I have a show come on tomorrow, every Tuesday at 8 o'clock called Portia Takes on the Black Belt. On Sunday, I have another show called with my boy Laramie and Cornelius called The Black Belt Experience, recovering things happening in the Black Belt of Alabama there. The Portia Takes on the Black Belt and beyond. We do a little bit of everything from national leaders to local leaders. Those are the things that we have the conversation with. We're going to have JR on real soon so his audience can come over and meet the Black Belt audience and have a conversation about some of the great things that he's doing and have done for our people.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I thank you so much, sis.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
All right, you too. Bye, everybody. Thank y'all for sticking with us.
Yes, yes. Everybody, that was Portia Shepherd. Make sure you all go and follow her on all social media platforms. An awesome, awesome, awesome community leader. So we need to support and stick with people that are doing great things. Again, I want to thank y'all, the Black Belt community, for hanging in and riding with us tonight, all the way from all the way in Atlanta, Georgia. I thank y'all so much. Had so many of y'all get on tonight, so I'm so grateful for you all. Again, don't forget, if you would like to be a guest on the conversation, make sure you hit me up and I will send you the link so you can schedule your slot on the conversation. 2 more days, 1 show tomorrow, 2 shows on Wednesday. Love y'all so much. Don't forget, no matter what it looks like, what's going on, God has a plan for your life. Look, just say yes. It's an everyday process. Like Portia said, we just started, but I promise you, it is better than whatever you can ever imagine. I promise you, his plan is so good. All right. I love y'all so much. Have a good evening. Peace.